Congressman Barry Loudermilk is a Republican from Georgia and will be voting on that $1.9 trillion package when it comes to the House. He's joining us now. Congressman, we thank you for joining us. So first off, what is your reaction to Democrats passing this bill on their own?
Oh, it's amazing because the budget, which Nancy Pelosi decided not even to do a budget in the last couple of years, all of a sudden now a budget is important. We don't even have the budget committee formed yet. So how could the budget committee, which is a bipartisan group, come out with a budget? They didn't. Nancy Pelosi hit the ground running. She wrote the budget herself. It's $1.9 trillion of slush fund to be used for every left-wing progressive idea you could think of. And here's the problem. There's still $1 trillion from previous stimulus packages that remain unspent. And we're adding another $1.9 trillion. But it's status quo. They ran through an impeachment without any hearings, without even going through committee. They brought this budget deal up, and they removed a Republican member from Congress without even having the Ethics Committee consider it. This is what's happening. Nancy Pelosi is in total control.
You know, that's the question, Congressman. The bill puts aside $1,400 for struggling Americans, but it still leaves more than $1 trillion left over. So where's the rest of the money going?
That's the question that we have to answer because this thing has happened so fast. I mean, we're just kind of trying to get a handle on how much wasteful spending is in there. And again, who's going to get these stimulus payments? I was just reading this morning the letter from the Senate saying people who make $300,000 a year are going to get a stimulus check. Why do we need to send that type of money to these folks? If you're going to send the money, send it to the ones who need it the most. You know, how broad is this going to be? We don't even know really how much this is going to cost in the long run.
You know, but Republicans are pleading with Biden to reconsider. But at this point, why would he?
There's no reason to. This is the one chance they actually have to get something done because of reconciliation. They don't have to have the 60 votes in the Senate to break the filibuster. They're going to use this. They're going to abuse it. They're going to put things in there that the rules of the Senate don't allow, and then they're going to move to just ignore those rules. Nancy Pelosi has set the precedent. She continually violates the House rules over and over again. She did it on the day that we were electing her as Speaker. When she was afraid she wouldn't have enough votes, she allowed people who had tested for COVID, only Democrats, to come to the floor and vote for her. She continually violates the rules of the House, years of precedent, and the Senate is seeing this. It's throwing all caution to the wind. Let's just get this done.
All right, I also want to ask you about Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, stripped of her committee assignments, forced to apologize for some past comments. Take a quick listen and we'll get your response.
I've been here for 1 month and a day, and I've gotten to know part of my conference, my Republican colleagues, but not even all of them yet. I haven't gotten to know any of my Democrat colleagues, and I haven't had to have any conversations with any of you to tell you who I am and what I'm about. You only know me by how Media Matters, CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of the mainstream media is portraying me.
Congressman, she has now been stripped of those committee assignments. Your response?
Well, first of all, it's unprecedented. This has never happened before in the history of our nation, where the majority party dictated to the minority party who can and who cannot be on committees. The other thing that's unprecedented is that whenever there has been a question of ethics by an elected member of Congress, we have a bipartisan ethics committee, which is the most bipartisan committee in Congress. They were not even consulted on this. Nancy Pelosi brought this to the floor directly herself. Again, it's status quo for what's going on here. She is a dictator. She is ramrodding this through, even to the objection of some Democrats. But the thing to remember here, and this is what big tech and the Democrats have forgotten, the First Amendment applies to Republicans and Democrats, not just Democrats. They're holding her responsible for things which I disagree with. Wholly disagree with, that happened before she was here in Congress, and she's disavowed those things. And so now they're going to go ahead and they're going to prosecute her without as much of a trial, remove her from her committees. And look, the First Amendment doesn't protect you from being offended. It protects your right to speech. There have been Democrats who have said much more inflammatory things since they have been in Congress as members of Congress, and nothing has happened to them. But we have a double standard in Washington, D.C. And it's okay to hold us to a higher standard, but you can't hold us to a double standard.
Higher, not double. Good points there. Thank you so much, Congressman Barry Loudermilk. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
As we've been reporting, President Biden